Dear students, first let's recall what I have explained in my last class. In the last class, we have derived an important derivation, finding the magnitude of the resultant and its direction. So, the resultant formula is given by R is equal to square root of P square plus Q square plus 2PQ cos theta. Where what is P and Q? P and Q are individual vectors. What is the theta? Angle between them. And then what is R? The resultant vector, because after adding two or more vectors, we get a single vector which we call it as a resultant, correct? The direction of that resultant is given by tan alpha is equal to Q sin theta by P plus Q cos theta, where what is alpha? Alpha is the angle between the resultant and the vector P. Alpha is always the angle between the resultant and vector P only. And then we have learnt three different cases out of it. When theta is 0, maximum resultant, that is R max P plus Q. Direction of the resultant is along the given vector. When theta is 90 degree, the resultant is square root of, that is R is equal to square root of P square plus Q square. And tan alpha is given by Q by P, that is the direction of the resultant is given by tan alpha is equal to Q by P. When theta is 180 degree, the resultant is minimum given by R is equal to R minimum is equal to P minus Q, provided P is greater than Q. If Q is greater, it will be Q minus P. The direction of the resultant will be always along the given vector, greater vector, not given vector, greater vector. That is only in the first case it is along the given vector, in the last case it is along the greater vector. If both are equal, then it is a 0 in the last case, okay. So, this is what we have learnt. So, let us learn more about this vector. So, we have an important concept again which is used in vectors and again in many of the chapters. This is called resolution of the vectors. Now, what do you mean by resolution? See, if I take one single vector, one vector called P, and then if I take another vector called Q, and then if I add this, where I am going to construct here a rectangle, then I will get a resultant, correct, which will be always along the diagonal. So, addition of two vectors will give you a single vector called R. So, this is addition process, okay, addition. Now, you are given this single vector. You can split that into individual vectors. Now, this process is called resolution. So, resolution is basically opposite of the addition of the two vectors. When you add many vectors, you will get single vector. Now, that single vector can be splitted into many vector. So, therefore, the resolution is a splitting of a vector into many other vectors is called as the resolution of the vectors. Are you clear? So, what is the resolution? Splitting of a given vector into many vectors, and those vectors which we get, they are called components of the given vector. So, here P and Q are the components of R. So, a single vector can be splitted into how many vectors? A single vector can be splitted into any number of vectors. But the one which is useful for us is splitting of one vector into two components, and that too rectangular components. What do you mean by rectangle? The angle between the two components has to be always 90 degree. Are you clear? So, therefore, let us now see how to resolve a given vector, and after resolving or after splitting, what are those vectors that we get. So, look at the diagram. So, hope you have understood what you mean by resolution. Resolution is basically opposite of addition of the two vectors. When we add two vectors, we get a single vector, that is called resultant. Now, you are given the resultant. Now, split that into two, and after splitting, whatever the two vectors which we get, P and Q, they are called the components of the vector, okay, right. So, I am going to consider a first vector, okay, there is a vector, and the magnitude of that vector is R. R is the magnitude of the vector, and this vector is along OC. Vector is along OC. Now this vector makes an angle theta with the horizontal. See, it makes an angle theta with the horizontal. Can we take the angle with the vertical? Yes, you can, but you have to take any one of the angle, either with the horizontal or with the vertical. Most of the time we prefer along the horizontal, but there is nothing wrong even if you take along the vertical. Okay, right. Now first I will split this vector into one vector along the horizontal, and that vector has a magnitude P and it acts along OA. So what is a P? One of the component of R. Component means part of R. Which is the other? The other will be along the vertical, that is Q. So that angle between P and Q is 90 degree. These are called rectangular components. What they are called? Rectangular components. And this vector is along B. So R is the given vector, keep in mind, and we split this into two vectors P and Q, which are perpendicular to each other. Now to find the relation between P, Q and then R and then theta, first I am going to construct here a square or a rectangle like this. I have constructed. Okay. If P and Q are equal, then we get a square. If they are unequal, then we will get a rectangle. Are you clear? Okay. Now see this, it's very easy. So if this side is a P, even this side is also P here, correct? Yes. If this is Q, even this side is also Q. Got it? Okay. Now let us use a right angle triangle. Okay. The right angle triangle, this one here it's 90 degree, correct? No, right. So now the right angle triangle is O, A and C. Triangle O, A, C. Triangle OAC. Here it is. OAC. So this is a right angle triangle. The 90 degree is here. Okay. If this is the angle, side opposite to the angle is called opposite side. This is the opposite side. The side perpendicular to the opposite side is called the adjacent side. And the remaining is the hypotenuse. Correct? Okay. Recall the definition. What is AC by OC gives? What is AC by OC? AC is the opposite side. OC is the hypotenuse. Opposite by hypotenuse is nothing but a sine theta. So sine of the angle, which is this. Correct? And now write AC is equal to OC sine theta. What is AC? AC is nothing but here. AC is nothing but Q. Correct? This is nothing but Q. Q. What is OC? OC is nothing but R. R what? Sine theta. See, we have found the relation between Q, R and then theta. Correct? Take one more side ratio. Okay. This by this. Adjacent by hypotenuse, which is OA by OC. OA by OC is nothing but what? It is a cos theta, right? Adjacent by hypotenuse is cosine. Or OA is equal to OC cos theta. What is OA stands for? OA stands for P. What is OC? R cos theta. So we have found the components. So how to remember the component? Whenever two vectors are given, the component where you take the angle, that becomes a cos function, it becomes R cos theta. So here P is nothing but equal to R cos theta. So wherever you take that angle, right, the component nearer to that angle will be always the cos. The other will be the sine. So Q is equal to R sine theta. Therefore this Q will be R sine theta. Okay. So this is how you have to remember. Then I will add two more equations here. That is, if I divide, what I am going to get? Let us divide Q by P. Q by P. Q by P. RR will get cancelled. Sin theta by cos theta is nothing but tan theta. So this is one more formula which you have to remember. So, tan theta is equal to q by p. Tan theta is equal to q by p. So, using all this relation, you can find x component. This is x axis, no? So, that is why it is called a x component. This is along the y axis, that is why it is called y component. All that can be calculated very, very easily. Okay. So, hope you understood the resolution. So, very quickly I am going to tell you as how you have to remember the components again with the diagram. So, please see the board. So, this is R, this is one of the component, and here it is a theta, this is the other component. The component where you take theta will becomes that is equal to P, and that is equal to R cos theta. Okay, wherever there is a theta, it becomes always the cos. The other, which is a Q, becomes a R sin theta. So, if I add these two vectors, I will get the value of R, because resolution is nothing but opposite process of the addition. So, if you add these two, you will get R, and if you split R, you will get these two vectors, which are called component of the vectors. Okay. I hope all of you have followed. So, let us try a numerical based on this, then you will understand all this topic. Okay. Right. So, go through it. A vector of 10 Newton makes an angle of 30 degree with the positive x axis. So, here it is. So, this is the vector 10 Newton. I will write it as R. It makes an angle of theta given 30 degree with the positive x axis. This is x axis. Find its component along the x axis and y axis. Okay. So, we have to find the value of P and we have to find the value of Q. That is what the question. So, what is the value of P? P is always R cos theta. R cos theta. What is the value of Q? Q is always R sin theta. What is the value of R? R is given 10 into sin theta is also given 30 degree, sin 30 degree. Again R is a 10. Sorry, this is not sin, this is cos 30 degree. This is R, again sin 30 degree, sin 30 degree. 10 into, what is the value of cos 30? This is a standard value. So, cos 30 is root 3 by 2. Okay. 10 into root 3 is 1.732 by 2. That is equal to 10 into 1.732 by 2, you will get 0.8660, and when you multiply, you will get 8.666. So much Newton. This is how you get the value. You can use the calculator also here. Now, this is equal to 10 into, what is sin 30? Sin 30 is half. So, 10 by 2 is a 5 Newton. So, given value is a 10 Newton. Okay, given value is 10 Newton. So, what is its effect in this direction? What is its component along this direction? It is 8.666 Newton. So, this value is 8.66 Newton. What is the value of this? It is a 5 Newton. So, that is the effect of this vector along this direction. This is the effect of this vector, this vector along this direction is 5. Hope you have understood the resolution of the vectors. Now, how to represent a vector along one direction? We call it as a one dimensional vector. Let us consider a vector A. Vector A. X I cap. Difference between this symbol and this symbol is that this is a vector. This is a symbol used exclusively for unit vectors only. What is a unit vector? A vector whose magnitude is 1 is called unit vector. So, magnitude of this will be always is equal to 1. And I have written here I cap. Unit vectors along 3 different axes, x axis, y axis and z axis are taken as I cap, j cap and k cap. Now, this is the standard. So moment I write vector A x I cap indicates that this vector is along the x axis having magnitude x. This is a vector having magnitude y, is along y axis. This is a vector having magnitude z along z axis. Are you clear with this? So I, j, k are the symbol used for the unit vectors standardized along x axis, y axis and z axis. Okay. I am going to write a force. Vector F is equal to 2I cap and then in Newton. Now what this indicates that a force of 2 Newton acts along the x axis. See, moment you write in vector form, you get to know even the direction of that particular physical quantity. I am going to write a velocity 3.5 j cap in meter per second. So the velocity vector has a magnitude of 3.5 meter per second along y axis. So that is the advantage of writing in vector form. And in this case, since only one axis is involved, it's called one dimensional vector. Only one axis is enough to understand these physical quantities. Okay. So what is the magnitude of A? Magnitude of A, we write it like this, right? Within the vertical line, mod, correct, modulus. So magnitude of A is only x. Now it is a scalar. This is a vector. Magnitude of a quantity is always a scalar. You can see there is no vector symbol. Okay. Magnitude means only, we don't talk about the direction, correct. So a physical quantity having only magnitude is called as a scalar quantity. So that's why magnitude of A is x, magnitude of A is here y, magnitude of A here is nothing but z. So hope you understood about the one dimensional vectors. Okay. Now we have two dimensional vector. Now what do you mean by two dimensional vector? In two dimensional vectors, we need two axes, or there are two components along two different axes. So that can be x and y, that can be x and z, or that can be y and z. This is how we write two dimensional vectors. So A is the vector, it has component along x axis and y axis, and x is the magnitude and x is the magnitude along the x axis and y is the magnitude along z axis. Now what is the magnitude of here? A. Magnitude of vector A. See, this value is along the x axis, it will be like this. This magnitude will be along the y axis. What is the angle between the two? 90 degree. So recall, when theta is 90 degree, what is the resultant? Root of p square plus q square. Hope you remember the special cases that we discussed in the addition of the vectors. When theta is 90 degree, r is root of p square plus q square. Therefore here magnitude is root of x square plus y square. So hope you understood that, how we get that particular formula. This is from the addition of the vectors. Similarly, for the next vector, it is root of x square plus z square. Similarly, for the third, magnitude is y square plus z square with the root. Root of y square plus z square. Are you clear? So therefore, in the case of two-dimensional vector, there will be two axes, either xy, xz or yz. And what is their magnitude? Root of sum of the square of their magnitudes. Clear? Okay. So that's about the two-dimensional vectors. Okay. So how about the three-dimensional vectors now? In three-dimensional vectors, all the three components are there. All the three components. X, that is y, that is z. Along x-axis, y-axis, z-axis. And the magnitude is given by square root of x square, root of x square plus y square plus z square. So this is the magnitude of the three-dimensional vector. So for one-dimensional vector, we represent like this. And for two-dimensional vector, we represent like this along x and y. And for three-dimensional, we represent as given in the board. Magnitude of A here is only x. The magnitude of A here is a root of x square plus y square. And here the magnitude is given by square root of x square plus y square plus z square. So let's try one simple problem. Find the magnitude of A, so vector A given, which is of the form xi cap plus yj cap plus zk cap, right? This is of that same format. So what is the magnitude you are asked to find? It's a square root of x square plus y square plus z square. That's a square root of x square. 2 square is a 4, 3 square is 9, 4 square is a 16, correct? Add them, 29, root 29. So you can simplify with the help of the calculator. So that's the magnitude of root 29. So that comes out to be 5 point some fraction, okay? So this is how we can find the magnitude of the vector. Imagine if that 4 is missing in that, 4 is not there, then the magnitude is given by root of 2 square, which is 4, 3 square, which is 9. You will get a root 13. Okay. If 2 is not there, only 3 and 4 is there, then the magnitude is given by root of 3 square 9, root of 4 square is 16, that's root 25, that's equal to 5. So hope you understood how to find the components or how to find the magnitude whenever it's one-dimensional, two-dimensional and three-dimensional vectors. Okay, so we are going to learn more about the vectors. That will be in the next class.